Good evening. Harris just released the payouts for the main event, and so, without further ado, we'll let you know how much the main event champion of 2007 is going to walk out of the Rio with.
This year, the winner of the main event will win $8.2 million. Now, that is almost $2 million less than Jamie Gold won last year, but there are several factors that have to be taken into account, including, surprisingly, fewer entrants.
Yeah. The other factor is that the pay scale has been readjusted, so more players are getting paid. 621 will finish in the money, but that means that first place is going to be a smaller percentage of the prize pool.
That's right. Last year we had 8,773 players. This year we're down to 6,358 players, which is still better than most people thought going into the main event. The lower turnout, in addition to the revised payout structure, is, like you said, probably responsible for the lower number.
Yeah, so there have already been thousands of players eliminated from the main event, and one of them is David Singer. Earlier today, he talked to Christy about why he deserves his buy-in back.
We're here at the Bellagio Cup 3 main event during the first break with David Singer. David, how are you doing so far?
I'm doing pretty well. We started with 20,000 in chips. I have 38,000 in change, so I'm off to a good start.
Have you been catching cards? Or making?
I had one big hand. I caught a guy bluffing me on every street, and so far I played well, and I've gotten a little lucky.
That's awesome. Well, the last time I sat down and talked to you, you told me about the way in which you went out of the main event. You were in a situation in which you called someone out because he looked at his phone and his hand should have been mucked. Is there any updates on that situation so far?
A little bit. I've talked to the Gaming Commission about it, and I've got to file a formal report with them. And I talked to Jeffrey Pollack, the commissioner of the World Series, yesterday about it. And I didn't really get far with him, but he told me to write him a letter, and he'll look into it. He may give me some of my money back, but he said he'll take it seriously and look at it. I even offered to give some of the money to charity if he'd give it back. If he'd give some of the money back to me, just to show goodwill that I believe in. I don't know. Somehow I thought that might show that I believe in what I'm doing. I'm not doing it just to, get my money back.
Right. And in that situation, you were all in. A guy was thinking about it, and he looked at his phone, and it was sort of, you wanted to talk to someone higher, right?
Right. The floor person that came over to the table was Steve Frazier, and I thought I gave away the strength of my hand by saying I wanted my opponent's hand killed. So obviously my opponent called my bet then when he realized I didn't want him to call.
When Steve Frazier said that
Steve Frazier then said his hand was live, and I asked to appeal to a higher authority, which I have the right to do. He told me there was no one higher on. Subsequently, I found out there was a higher floor person on, Dennis. I don't remember his last name, but he was the ranking person on. I didn't get to talk to him. And not only that, I found out since from Jack Epple, the tournament director, that when there is such a controversy, the floor people are instructed to call Jack if he's not there. So I didn't get the appeal I deserve. I really think I was wronged. I think I should have, my opponent's hand should have been dead. Maybe I'd still be in the main event. But I hope to get some money back, and if I do, I'm going to give half of it to the Nature Conservancy. So maybe it'll make me feel better. At least they're not going to admit that they were wrong, but maybe by giving me a little bit of money, I'll know that they're changing things maybe, and that they know they were wrong about it.
We'll let you know whether David Singer gets his money back, but there are plenty of people down at the Rio right now who hope they get their money back, and they will if they cash, plus they'll get it back twofold. The lowest prize in the payout structure is just over $20,000.
Today is day 2A of the main event, and it has not been kind to many pros. 2006 runner-up Paul Wasika, 1995 main event champion Dan Harrington, 2005 main event champion Joe Hashem, Mark Safe, Patrick Antonius, and Tony G have all been eliminated over the course of today.
Players near the top of the day 2A chip counts include David the Dragon Pham, Robert Mizraki, and Cliff Johnny Bax Josephy. Tomorrow is day 2B, and the chip leader going into that day is Jeff Norman with 281,000 in chips.
Also up there on the day 2B chip counts are Bill Edler, Ted Forrest, Lee Watkinson, and Chuck Kelly. As we said earlier, there are fewer players in this year's main event, partially because of the fact that Harrah's announced they will not accept internet qualifiers.
Earlier today, we had a chance to speak with Senator Alfonse D'Amato. Actually, I got a chance to meet him. What an exceptional man. Lizzie had a chance to interview him, and here he is.
We are here with Senator Al D'Amato. Now, Senator D'Amato, what's going on right now with the PPA? You guys are growing in membership. How many members do you have right now?
We're up to over 600,000, and our goal is to get it up to 1 million, at least 1 million, before the end of the year, so that we can get the little guy, the poker player who's being cut off of the internet, who can no longer play, get him an opportunity to get back on and be able to play poker. Seems ridiculous to me that you can bet on the ponies, but oh no, you can't play your favorite game of poker? It's ridiculous. People are angry. We're telling them join the PPA, the Poker Players Alliance, and then let your congressman know that you've joined the PPA and that you are going to look to see whether or not he or she supports legislation that will give you back your rights to play poker. Well, listen, Congressman Frank has been very courageous. They'll probably marking his bill up. Congressman Wexler, he has introduced a terrific bill which will legalize and says that you can play poker just like you can bet on the ponies. Why shouldn't you be allowed to, in your own home, to play poker? I mean, it seems ridiculous to me the government is going into your home. So I think those two bills are going to make great progress. The Congresswoman Shelley Berkeley from here in Nevada, why she's got a bill that studies and says, listen, why don't you learn about this instead of just banning this?
And what do you think her studies will show?
If we don't win today, we're going to come back tomorrow. And if we don't win then, we're going to come back the next day. We will win this fight. People have a right to play poker on the internet. Big Brother shouldn't be coming in and saying, no, you can't play poker. You can bet on the horses, you can bet on fantasy sports, but you can't bet on poker? That's ridiculous. So it doesn't make sense. It's a bad law. We can make it better. That's what the PPA is fighting, to bring this to the attention of Congress and to organize and galvanize the poker players of America into an effective political arm fighting for their rights.
Stay tuned to Card Player TV for the full interview with Senator D'Amato later on this week.
As we promised you, the Bellagio Cup 3's WPT Championship event started today. As usual, Christy Arnett was down in the Fontana Lounge for all the information about this event.
We're back in the Fontana Lounge for your nightly updates on the Bellagio Cup 3 Tournament Series. It's Day 1A of the $10,000 buy-in World Poker Tour main event. 129 players showed up, including big-name pros such as Ram Baswani, Christy Gazes, Min Win, and Davidson Matthew. That was your nightly update, and make sure to check out Bellagio Cup 3 updates on Card Player TV.
Card Player will be here at the Bellagio to provide you with all the details on this World Poker Tour event.
That's all we got for you tonight. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for a new episode. Good night, everybody.
Good night.